Hey guys, let's talk about missing side lengths. So if you notice on this diagram, there are some sides that are labeled, and then we have this one side right here that is labeled D for the distance of in meters, but we don't know, or miles, I should say. We don't know what D is, so that's what I mean by missing side lengths. Like there's going to be a side of a shape that is missing. Okay, so we're going to set this up by using proportions. What I want to do first is find two corresponding sides, and I'm going to set those up first as a fraction. So remember your corresponding sides, you can kind of use the different angles to help you. So if I go here from the one loopy-doop up to two loopy-doops, this side length, okay, right here, it's going to match on the other side from 1 to 2 loops. So those two are matching. So I'm going to put the first one on top, so 8 miles, and the 4 miles on bottom. I'm going to set it up again as a proportion. So since I went with the bigger triangle as my first shape, I'm going to have to start there again. So now let's find my corresponding sides. If I'm going from 2 loops to no loops, right here, okay, and then on the other side, 2 loops to no loops, right here, those are corresponding sides, those two. So again, I'm going to go from the bigger triangle to the littler triangle, so D miles over 5 miles. Okay, keep it consistent. So I went from big to small, big to small. Now it's a proportion, so I can cross multiply. 8 times 5, which is 40, and then divide by the leftover number, so 40 divided by 4, which equals 10 miles. So from the house to the stoplight is 10 miles. Always find those corresponding sides and make sure that you set it up in your proportions. Be really nice and consistent with how you are setting them up. Make sure that you're using the similar shapes to find the top and the bottom. Always keep them matching. Okay, so let's go ahead to slide 3. Again, we're going to find this length of D. So let's find our corresponding sides again. So if I go from my 90-degree angle into this one in the middle, that's going to match this 90-degree angle into the middle. So those two are matching. And then 90-degree to this one out here, 90-degree to this one out here, those two are matching. Okay, we are going to set it up in a proportion. So I'm going to start with the one I know, so 18 and 90. 18 feet over 90 feet. And on the other side, again, since I started here with the 18, I'm going to start here with the 20. 20 feet over D. That's what we don't know yet. And then we can cross multiply right here. So 90 times 20. Remember, you do have a calculator. So type it in. 90 times 20 is 1,800. And then divide by your leftover. So 1,800 divided by 18, which gives you 100 feet. So D is 100 feet. Then there's a second question here. What is the scale factor? Okay, so let's talk about scale factor real quick. Remember, scale factor is what it's being multiplied by to go from the original to the new shape. From the original shape to the new shape. What are they multiplying by? And remember, if it's getting smaller, if it's shrinking, then it's going to be multiplied by a fraction or a decimal, something less than 1. If it's getting bigger or enlarging, it's going to be multiplied by something larger than 1. Okay? So to do this, remember we should be doing the new over the original. And they always tell us, if they don't tell you which one is new and original, remember this is always going to be your original and this one's going to be your new, like the same direction that you read. So the one on the left would be your original, the one on the right would be your new one. So if we're going to do new over original, we're going to use the numbers that we already had in common, so these two, and set it up in our fraction. So the new number was 90 over 18. And we're just going to simplify that fraction. So divide 90 divided by 18, which gives us 5. So our scale factor here was 5. Again, what does that mean? That means the new shape is 5 times larger than the original shape. So we take that original shape, multiplied it 5 times bigger. That's what the new shape is. Okay, next one, let's set it up. First, let's find our corresponding pieces. So I've got this 6 inches is going to match this 15. This 2 is going to match this x. Go ahead and set yours up. So I have 6 inches over 15 inches. And then I have 2 inches over x. Cross multiply. 2 times 15, which is 30. And then divide by the leftover, 30 divided by 6, which is 5 inches. So x is 5 inches. Don't forget your units. And then for our scale factor, remember new over original. So here are the two that correspond. This is our new and our original. So we're going to do new 15 over original, which was 6, and just simplify that fraction. So 15 divided by 6 is 2.5, or 2 1/2. You can do a fraction or a decimal. All right, find your two corresponding sides. From 1 loopy-doop to 2 loopy-doops, matches right here, 1 to 2. From 3 to none, 3 to none, so those two match. So I'm going to go 15 meters over 3 meters, and I'm going to do 25 meters over x meters. Cross multiply. 25 times 3 is 75. 75 divided by 15, which is 5 meters. So x is 5 meters. Okay, let's do the scale factor. Remember, it's new over original. So this is our new, this is our original. New was 3, original was 15, and just simplify that fraction. Let's see, it is getting smaller this time, so it's going to still be a fraction, but I could divide by 3 to at least simplify it. So that would give me 1/5. I realize that the picture doesn't look like that's what's happening. What I always say with these is to trust the numbers, not the picture, right? We just kind of Google some pictures and throw some numbers on there sometimes, and they aren't always logical. So this doesn't look like it's getting smaller, but according to the numbers, it's getting smaller. Just go with it. All right, let's find our corresponding pieces again. So the short side and this short side, long side, long side. Go ahead and set up your proportion. All right, hopefully you set it up something like 2 over 3 equals 4 over x. Once you have it set up, go ahead and cross multiply, divide. Go ahead and find that length. Okay, we should be doing 3 times 4, which is 12, and then dividing by 2, which is 6. They didn't give us a unit, so remember, you just put U, or you can write the word units. Now for our scale factor, it is new over original. Remember, this is the original, this is the new. Set it up and simplify it. Okay, your new was 3, your original was 2, and 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, or 1 1/2. You could do a fraction or a decimal, either one is fine. Okay, this one's interesting because it's got multiple pieces that are missing. So here from 1 to 2 loopy-doops, matches here, 1 to 2. Then I can see from 2 to 3, matches 2 to 3. And from 1 to 3, 1 to 3. So notice I've got my all three sides kind of showing. So let's see which ones we need. So for length X, I'm going to use the blue, the ones that match already. So these two, okay? And I'm using my pink ones, the one that matches the X. So I'm going to do 9 over 6 equals X over 4. Notice I have the X on top this time because I'm going from left to right. I'm using the left one on top, the right one on bottom. Go ahead, cross multiply and divide. So 9 times 4 is 36, and then 36 divided by 6 is 6. They didn't give me a unit, so just 6u, or 6 units. Okay, same idea for my y. Use your blue, and this time the orange down there at the bottom. You could, now that you know what X is, you could use that number, but just in case you did something wrong on that one, I always like to go back to the ones that are like for sure that they gave me. So set that one up and solve for y. Okay, I would have done 9 over 6 equals y over 3. Cross multiply. I have 9 times 3, which is 27. 27 divided by 6, which is 4.5 units. Don't forget your units, 4.5u. Finally, our scale factor. Again, you could, now that you know all the numbers, you could use any of them. I would still go with the original one they gave me. So don't forget, this is your original, this is your new. So I'm going to use the I'm going to use the 6 on top, new, over original, and then just simplify 6/9. They're both divisible by 3, so I get 2/3. My scale factor is 2/3. All right, do this whole last one, and then I'm going to come back and do it all with you. Okay, let me show you my sides. So from 1 to 2, 1 to 2, those match. 2 to 3, 2 to 3, and 3 to 1, 3 to 1. Okay, so for finding X, X is this blue one, so I'm going to have to use the blue and the two that actually match, which was my orange, so I'm going to go 6 over 4, 6 over 4 equals 7 over X. Cross multiply, 7 times 4, let's see, 7 times 4 is 28, and then 28 divided by 6, which is repeating. You could leave as a fraction, which would be 4 2/3. If you wrote it as a decimal, that's okay, it's 4.6 repeated. Just remember, put that little hat on there to tell me it's repeated. And again, they didn't give us units, so u. Either of those are fine. Fraction or decimal is fine. Okay, now if I want to find what y is, this time instead of the blue, I'm going to use the green. So I have 6 over 4 equals 8 over y. Cross multiply, 8 times 4, which is 32. 32 divided by 6. 32 divided by 6, again, is a repeating decimal, so you could do 5.3 repeated units, or that is y, then 1/3 units. Either of those would be fine. And finally, for a scale factor, remember new over original. So the new is my 4 over the original was 6. Those both divide by 2, so that would give me 2/3 for my scale factor. And that's it, guys. Just remember to keep it nice and organized when you set up your proportion. You want to make sure that things on top kind of match and on bottom kind of match. And we were finding that scale factor new over original.